Pokemon Champions, the game that is thought to become the home of competitive Pokemon as we know it. A game that, if done right, could become one of the greatest Pokemon games ever. As the suspected spiritual successor to the Pokemon Stadium games, I'm super excited for this game as a huge fan of competitive Pokemon and Pokemon battles in general. So today, we're talking about all of the features that I hope are included in Pokemon Champions, as they're what could make a good game great. Also real quick, if you have any great ideas about what you think should be included, let me know down in the comments section below. And with that, let's get right into it. The first thing that Pokemon Champions needs to include is detailed customizable rule sets and game modes. I'm talking about having game modes similar to the ones you'd find on Pokemon Showdown, including tiers similar to OU, Little Cup, and Anything Goes, to name a few. Different game modes that could each be ranked. This way, if you want to quickly hop into a ranked battle that doesn't include all of the strongest legendaries, you could just join an underpowered tier, something like UU would be in Smogon. You know, just include game modes similar to Anything Goes, something like OU, that doesn't allow restricted legendaries, and even modes like Little Cup, where you use first stage evolution Pokemon and baby Pokemon. Even extra modes like, imagine if you could even choose an option where you can choose monotype battles. That would be so cool, since if these were all choosable modes, all you'd have to do is find the game mode on the menu or something, and you'd be able to start matches just like that. As of right now, you have to find people willing to play that game mode and then wait for them to hop on the game and actually connect to you. With game modes like these, it would be a fast, streamlined process to play all of these fun game modes with people ready to go. An extra plus to this would be if you could have the option to play a game mode and choose specific Pokemon that aren't allowed. For instance, if I'm playing an Ubers-like tier, it would be nice to be able to somehow ban Calyrex Shadow from being allowed on a team, since to me, it's such an annoying Pokemon. I'm not exactly sure how they could manage this, but it's an idea. And imagine too if you were allowed to pick which generational gimmick could be included in the battles you picked. Like, if I only wanted to allow Terrestrialization and Mega Evolution, and ban Dynamax and Z-moves. It would be a nice feature to be able to pick such things when playing battles online or with friends. The next feature I hope they include is minigames. Minigames are one of the most iconic features of the Pokemon Stadium games. When you ask people what they remember from the Stadium games, they'll most definitely mention how fun all of the various minigames are. They're a great change of pace from all the battling you do in the game, and it's a nice way to unwind and take a quick break from battling. They could include all of the minigames from the previous two Stadium games and just give them an HD remaster, while also including a bunch of new minigames, some of which could be Nintendo Switch exclusives that utilize the Joy-Cons for some added fun. They could even make them ranked and have a leaderboard for the highest scores on each game. Dude, I would be wrecking in that log chopping game. I'm not sure what other games they could even add though, so if you have any ideas on what could be some fun games to include, feel free to drop them down in the comments section. Overall, minigames would be an awesome addition to Pokemon Champions. Another feature Pokemon Champions hopefully includes is single-player battle modes similar to the gym leader battles and the cup battles from Pokemon Stadium. They were a great way to get some practice in with battling, especially if you're a newer player. You'd battle computers with preset teams, and it could introduce many players to the concepts of various battle strategies. Think teams using weather or trick room teams, to name a few examples. It's also just a fun way to prove your battle skills, and at the end of each mode, there would be a final boss with an insane team that would be a challenge to take on. As for the Pokemon you'd use, there could either be rental teams you could use, or you could just build your own team, setting it up the way you like. Overall, the single-player experience is a necessary addition to Pokemon Champions. So the next feature sorta ties in with the previous one, in that they need to include rental teams in this game. Preset teams that utilize various proven strategies that competitive players use in real battles. I'm talking rental teams that use weather, trick room, hyper offense, balance, stall, that sort of thing. It would be a huge help to new players that aren't very good yet at building teams, while also getting them familiar with the strategies used by the competitive players. It would be nice even for veterans of the series to be able to just use a pre-made team for battles instead of having to build a whole new team from scratch every time. Maybe there would even be an option where you could use a specific rental team as a template and then be able to change whatever you'd like on the team. Things like a new Pokemon or moveset. Rental teams might also give die-hard veterans of battling a sort of challenge mode, where they use a basic rental team in ranked battles to see how far they could get with a rudimentary team. I don't know, but I see rental teams being absolutely necessary in this game. And lastly, they should have a detailed summary of each Pokemon. Basically, a summary of each Pokemon that will show you all of the usual Pokedex information, and then show you info like stats, base stats, move pools, and even breeding information to make breeding for your teams a bit easier, if that's your thing. This one isn't a big one, but Pokemon games tend to not show you all the info you might need to build a solid team. Maybe they could even include a damage calculator, but maybe that's going a little too far. I suppose that's everything I could think of as for what needs to be included in Pokemon Champions, but I think these features would make this game amazing. If you guys have any ideas as well, I'd love for you to drop them down in the comments section below and let me know whether you agree with this list or if there's something you'd change. There's a Pokemon Presents coming up on Tuesday, July 22nd, so we'll most likely find out more about this game. Let's hope things on this list are included. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you liked the video, please consider subscribing to the channel, as it really helps. Anyways, that's all we have today, so we'll be seeing you in the next one.